remember one incident where three Asian players got selected for the England team, and but they made sure that no more than two were ever on the pitch at the same time. And once I remember, all three of us on the pitch, and somebody noticed and says, "Oh no, get one of them off, get one of them off." There it was unwritten rule that only two players ever played on the pitch at the same time. So it's tough. But to make it through all of that, you know, it was very satisfying.
I'm Mike Hughes. I am the men's First 11 head coach and director of hockey at Indian Gymkhana. I think the key thing with Indian Gymkhana that was made it most appealing to me was just this concept or the idea of bringing British Asian hockey to the fore again in the UK. My generation of players, maybe a couple of years older than me, had an amazing run, and there was a fantastic rivalry around many of the clubs, both in the top leagues and in the leagues below. But they're not in the Premier League anymore.
When you're old, you get young people to do your job. Earlier, set up! First in position, come on! Earlier, Ijaz! Middle, Ijaz! Get in the middle, come on!
And I really wanted to take on that challenge. I wanted to be the guy that can help bring this amazing community of people back to the top of England hockey. So when I took over, you got to remember they were in the relegation playoffs of Div 1. They were about a minute away from being relegated into the regional leagues.
Okay, if you want to be aggressive to space, then we go be aggressive to space on the outside. So you make that decision, all right? Keep the ball on your stick on that right-hand baseline, one play longer, and we roll up and we get the corner. All right? Good quarter, well done. There's a lot going on that quarter, and you fucking managed it really, really well. Well done.
The club was in a tough place, and I asked a few people's opinions of the team, and let's just say that their remarks weren't complimentary. So that the group was in a tough place. Their behaviours were appalling on the hockey pitch. Umpires hated them, and they weren't moving forwards. They had some good players, some really good players, but they weren't moving forwards. From the start, I could see that things needed to change within the men's First 11 at Indian Gymkhana. The two ways to go about this, I think it was just as a head coach, you go in and you immerse yourself in what's going on. So it wasn't old Georgians. It was a different set of people with a different set of values. So I had a clear idea of my own hockey principles, but how we changed the values within the group. I wanted to see what was going on to start with. The only way that any head coach can do that is by having a fantastic leadership group around him. You can't do it by yourself. It doesn't work like that. You're not on the pitch. You're not doing it. So it's making sure that the recruitment is key, and bringing in people that you trust, people that you're aligned with, and people that want to come on that journey with you and have the same beliefs, principles, values as you.
Mike moved here. I was very quick on the phone to kind of reach out to Rav and a couple of others, wanting to be a part of it. And actually the feel that I've had from myself and my family for the last season has been incredible. My kids used to love watching hockey. They didn't so much at the end of last year, but now they want to come. They want to come to training. My son comes to training quite a lot. He just loves being around.
It's Christmas break. Hughes has probably got about 12 games lined up before Christmas anyway.
Similarly, bringing Mike on board and the coaching staff with Ipe and Nick, it's understanding how hockey in England's played and the talents that these guys have got and bringing it together.
What?
Nice.
The thirst for learning, the thirst for knowledge is huge in these youngsters. Like, for example, we have video sessions either Tuesday and Thursday, and these guys have never had that. And then suddenly you're going to a professional level in terms of the scouting and all the analysis.
You know, we have got a leading coach who's won titles at previous clubs. You know, he's brought that professionalism into this club and into our first team. You know, from video sessions to things coming out on WhatsApp groups to kind of do our homework before games. You know, it's really turned into a professional outfit. I think that's been the big difference this year, and obviously the dedication that now, you know, players from outside that have joined us this year have brought into the club. You know, Olympians, ex-Olympians, you know, people with hundreds of caps for their country. You know, that's and all that environment, you know, has kind of brought that into our youngsters as well.
That's who we are. That's why we do it, right? We do it for family.
How do we go about changing the values and the behaviours in the first 11? Well, the key thing for me was to remove status, and that's it didn't matter who you were, it didn't matter how old you were, who your family was, you're all equal now. So there had to be a removing of the older generation, the experienced generation shouting at the juniors. Doesn't work, it didn't work. So we had to learn how to communicate with each other. The key bits for me was building social capital within the group. Fantastic facilities at the club, so we have a meeting room, and we need to make sure we meet. That's where we greet each other, that's where we hug, that's where we say hello. We make sure we say hello to each other and greet each other. And then also the key bit was this vulnerability piece. So people need to be very confident in speaking, and the juniors within the group needed to have a voice. They needed to feel confident that they could speak, as well as then the senior members of the group feeling confident that they could speak and they could speak to me, and everyone was there. So that's pretty key. Those are the key things that we really looked to change, and it seemed to work.